handing it over to our brother Dr. Stephen Mohudia, who is out of the country. It is a pleasure to be with you here this afternoon, and it is great to have Elder John Ng'ang'a, who tells me retired at the age of 55. Those days, that was the retirement age. These days, I hear it is 60. So he has been retired for quite a number of years, but he is not tired. He has been very active in ministry and in many other areas, including in the church. I think he is an ambassador out there. He is more out there than in Valley Road, doing ministry. So you'll be the one speaking to us, and I want to welcome him. And he's accompanied by his wife. And today we have our bishop's wife, our sister Elizabeth, in the house, who has joined us. And we have other team here from the committee, which I can see seated here. So our brother will be talking to us. The topic is something, retirement. But he's telling me his topic is retirees economics. How do you like that? Retirees economics. So let's hear what this retirees economics is all about. But let me pray for you. Father, in the name of Jesus, we want to thank you this afternoon for your brought us for this time of ministry, O dear Father, and we want to pray, King of Glory, for our Elder Ng'ang'a, even as he takes us through this session. May you give him clarity of mind and understanding, O dear Father, even as he takes us through this topic. And may we benefit out of it, O dear Father. Those who are retired and those who are still working and preparing to retire, may you also minister to them, O dear Father. We want to thank you and praise you and exalt your name. For we ask for this, believing and trusting in Jesus' name.
Amen.
Amen. Karibu.
Amen. Bwana asifiwe. Yeah, I can't be old when Mon Ami is here. My friend are the ones that began the golden age. And we are the first chairman. Can you stand up and wave the people? Evariste were the first chairman. They used to invite me, and there would be only 20 people. So the 61 to 65 was the whole of golden age. That was the number. So to come and look at this number, don't we thank God for this Muse? Yeah, that they were not kind of discouraged by the numbers. And so it's gone on and on. I've got one, in my introduction, I've got one misgiving. Since I'm talking about retirement economics, people below 60 are not welcome. But they are not retired according to the new retirement age. Are we together? Yes. Yeah, so maybe the church needs to have a new group called 40s and 50s, where I'll talk about preparing for retirement. Are we together? Yes. Yeah, because one of my problems with people below 60 coming for such meetings is to start believing they are old. And it's a lie. I retired at 55. I'm not a young age. I'm now over 70. I keep looking and imagining. People call me old at 55. How wrong we were. So please, if you are 58, no, you are just a cow. Don't agree to be called old. And not that you are not agreeing. The truth is you are not. Are we together? So the church we have to restructure to ensure golden age means people above 60. And there's a new name for those 40s and 50s, especially because at the 5 is the age for young professionals. So we need something that the 5 to 50 to maybe 55 or 60 are different names. However, I am told that my friend Kimel told me that it's very important that people at 50 are in this meeting because they are going there anyway. So don't think you know. Don't even if you're only 50, one of these days you'll be 60, isn't it? So that's something that my wife keeps saying that when I told her we are coming here, she told me I will take you. Since I'm young, I'll take you to your So she She's here, the young girl, married to an old man. And we are actually not old. So I agree with her. We are not really old. What is retirement? Retirement is when you become so old that your body does not allow you to work productively. This country has no retirement age. The law in Kenya does not have retirement age. The employers determine retirement. Some can retire at 65, others at 70, others at 50. The law does not follow. The Kenyan law, ask these lawyers, they'll tell you, the Kenyan law has no date for retirement. An employer-employee agree when to retire. The simple terms, the employer is the government, isn't it? And they have set it at 60, but that has to be an age. So you need to understand that retirement is not quite something we can pin down. Because real retirement is for you to be so old, you can't help yourself. And I've looked at everybody who came, I watched them at 28, we have no retirees here. Because everybody can work, am I right? Yes. So none of us retire. But you know the truth is, retirement comes. You get, and by the way, it's not age related. You can be in your 70s and the body refuses to operate. And even if you want to come for this meeting, you can't come. Or if you come with 2 bodyguards, 1 son, 1 daughter, and escort you to the meeting. Have you seen that happening? Yes. Those are real retirees. So as long as you're not reached there, please know I'm not quite talking about you. And at whatever age you are, don't allow yourself to enter there. You know, at the age of, we were told by somebody called Dr. Katere, the late Dr. Katere, that because of the Kenya government placing the age of 55, another employer decided to copy it, a lot of people would think they are old at 55. When they retire, Dr. Katere told us they are dying within 3 years. Our life expectancy will not go beyond 57, thereabout. Because you go, you feel old, you are not doing anything, you expect your children to look after you, and you feel like you are going nowhere. The moment your mind is taking you nowhere, you are soon asking for the grave. Are we communicating? Yes. That's why it's dangerous for us to keep calling 50-year-olds old. Because you start believing it. And you feel like I can't work. After all, I'm old. It's very important that we understand that. So I wanted us to deal with that as a revelation. So that we understand we are not talking about somebody who is 75 and strong, sitting back to do nothing. And he says he's not committing suicide. It's very important to understand when you start doing nothing, you are actually starting to commit suicide. There's something called atrophy, and the doctors here will tell us about it, which the chairman was here, I would have checked with him. That they tell me if you put your hand on one place for 2 weeks without moving, after 2 weeks the hand will not work. It will need a physiotherapist. And it's not that you are sick, it is that the hand has not been working. Am I communicating? So anybody who stops working and being active will soon suffer that theory of atrophy, where you can't think, you can't talk, you are confused, but it's all because you called yourself old. At that time, when you reach that retirement time, and I've told you it's not an age, it's the body. You can be 65 and retired because your body is not cooperating, or 90 and active. Have you met 90-year-olds? Yes. Yeah, I remember George being interviewed just before one of the elections, and he was in his 90s, and we were talking tough. Hey, in his 90s. I don't know if you saw that program. It was on KTN with the George being interviewed by Koinange. You remember? So it's your people. He was fresh and he was communicating. So whatever your age, please know age is not the issue. It's the health. Are we together? Yeah. Do not say, but I'm 75. No. Are you healthy? If the answer is yes, continue being active. And I think that will be something But there are several things I need to ask to talk to about. You spend your years dreaming about retirement, and then when you reach there, you forget all those dreams. You are not clear because you did not prepare properly. And you know, the trouble with retirement, you may not know how long it will be, but you need to prepare. That's not my topic today, but one way of preparing is writing your will. You are not prepared for retirement without writing your will. Consider your will. Your will is a way of ensuring there is no fighting after death. Have you seen what is happening? And the guy to blame is already gone. And he has left the children to fight, and they are fighting. There are many families, although poor, don't fight much. But the richer you are, the greater the fight. You know, you assume your children are siblings. They grew up together. So you start assuming that things will be okay after all they are siblings. What you don't know is that your son married a daughter from somewhere else. And she never grew with you, isn't it? So the moment you are God, say you are being cheated by your brother. How can they have 2 acres and you have 1? The fight begins. But it begins because there is somebody who is not from your family. Are we together? So the only way of sorting out so that in your later years, because basically you'll still be alive if you start fighting, write your will early enough so that it's very clear there is a document that says what you wanted. The truth is, even if you write fairly, they will still think it's unfair. You give each one a house, then they start saying my house is not white. How come my mother gave the black one to me? She doesn't like me. Be ready for that. Are we together? But do your best. So write your will. And that one is including the people in their 50s. I think that's a one way. And that part of retirement economics. Because retirement economics means you are accepting you are reaching a level where your means of livelihood may need to be taken over by other people. How it will be taken over depends on what you write in your will, and it will be important that we deal with that as part of planning. Experts claim the succession planning process should ideally begin when the business owner is between the ages of 45 and 50. That's what I've just said. If he or she plans to retire maybe at 65. Since succession can be an emotionally charged issue, sometimes the assistance of outside advisors and mediators and lawyers may be required, although they are still your children we are talking about. And I think important. Determine how much income you need in retirement early enough. Make a list of all your current expenses. Chances are you will continue to incur the same expenses in retirement that you incur out. It's a pity in Kenya, on average, from the people I have researched on, your pension is normally about a third of your final salary. Those of you who are retired, am I right? And I ask, what is the argument? Because they assume that in retirement you don't have costs. But one day you are going to work. You are working, but you are still eating. So that continues, isn't it? You have medical bills. That doesn't just continue, it increases as you grow, isn't it? And you are maintained to maintain a house. That continues. The house is getting older, the average becomes higher. So you need to understand that as you prepare, the pension may not be enough to allow you to remain at the same standard of living. Am I communicating? That's something you need to be aware. Because don't say, I have a pension scheme. The way they have designed it is that you will not have a lot. I used to have a problem working for Shell because the Wazungu pensioners would get 65% of their final salary. That means after they retire, they start traveling the earth. Because that money is quite a lot, isn't it? But we are given at that, you start looking for another way. So after you retire, you start working now to pay for the two that's missing. Am I giving you experience? Yes. So that's part of the retirement economics in Kenya, but it may not be elsewhere. A lot of the Wazungus, the Europeans, the Americans, they used their retirement years to be volunteers. But the pension is looking after them well. So they now work free of charge in various places. But for us, you still work for yourself. Am I right? And it's something that you need to have at the background. Determine your source of income then also that will cover this deficiency. Most people receive retirement income from Social Security, yes, but when I said it's almost a joke. They give you a small check and within 2 months it's over. And I could go and talk about factors in the impact of inflation and taxes, something you have to think about. You get a pension, your pension scheme does not allow for the level of inflation, so they are giving you 100,000 shillings a month, and if they ever increase it by 1 or 2%, and the inflation is going at 7 or 8%, so your income is being eaten by 5% per year. Because 100,000 now, in 10 years, will be equal to 50. Are you getting the point? So that's something you have to think about. That as the time value for money will affect it. Consider you have, number 2, next, in this retirement economics, consider your family obligations. And your family situation will affect many of your retirement decisions. Now, these days, there are so many complications coming. Earlier, we were the pension scheme for our parents. Am I right? So we have not thought of our children because of the hours. No. They are not only unable to keep their own economics, they are eating 2 hours. Am I right? Yes. So you need to think in the economics that this pension is not for me and my spouse. What did I do when one of the children is totally needs a safety net? They have done their best, but they've been thrown out. Like that's what happened during COVID, isn't it? Many other children came home, isn't it? Because where else? They came with the children, and you can't throw away your own son, can you? Of course you can, but may you? No. So those are things that you have to think about. I know that's created a big debate because they recommend that when you retire, move away from your big house to go to a flat. Have you heard of that recommendation? But that's on the assumption that all your children and grandchildren will not be university alone. Because once you say in a 1-bedroom flat and corporate comes, will you be able to accommodate them? So those are things that you have to think about in your economics and see what is it you can actually, how can you deal with it if it ever comes. And that's important. That's why the recommendation is that you need to give your insurance and things that can, and I think that's an important point. That because of that, when you are younger, insurance doesn't matter much. Because even if something comes, you can recover, isn't it? When you start getting to retirement years, any business collapses, that's the end of it, isn't it? And you are left with a debt to repay, so it leads you to other businesses. But insurance is more needed in this age than earlier, where whatever it is you are having, what is insurance? Insurance is a chama. The concept of insurance is a chama, where 10 of us put some money aside, believing that out of the 10, only one will suffer the loss. Then our other money will help the person to recover. Am I communicating? That's the principle of insurance. When you put all money, little, but on the assumption that only one will claim. And if you start doing that since you now know it's not easy to recover. Whatever it is you have, even if your house, don't allow insurance to expire. If it's a car and you are young, if you burn out, you get another one. If it's a car, don't have that party. Because that party means you are okay, but if you hit somebody else, you'll be paid. Understand the meaning of that party? There's a certain level of foolishness for you as an old man to insure your car that party. Because the third party assumption is that you can look after yourself. Comprehensive insurance means if the car has an accident, even if you need help, isn't it? So they'll buy a new car for you because you don't think you have enough money to look for that can give you another car. So you start understanding there are things you could do as a young person. As an old person, it's not wise to actually be involved in it. I know that because when I was in the sheriff, my used to be one of my transporters, and he had no insurance. He used to buy that battery. I went to ask him whether that's right to do, and I can sure trust him with that battery. What happened? He said, wait a minute. He had about 200 trucks. He had calculated no more than 3, 4, 5 trucks in a year. can be written off. The amount of money he would buy to buy 3 trucks was far less than the insurance they were charging. So he was a better person as an insurer, because he was large enough to be his own insurer. So we agreed. That part is okay. But my friend, you are not what used to worry. It's important to understand that as you are, whatever it is you are doing, don't have a negative view of insurance, because insurance simply means all of us, we are together. How do we put some savings, believing not all of us will suffer the same? And that can't be wrong. Can it be wrong? No, it can't be. You can't say because you're a Christian, because that is wisdom. That will be very important. That's part of what you need to do as you grow older. But I also wanted, and I don't think I have enough time to go into it. I wanted to read a story of Kentucky Chicken, where you have gotten to the age of 60s, but you spend all your year without discovering God's calling. Then at the age of 60s, you discover your calling. I'm sure you have seen Kentucky in Nairobi, isn't it? It was begun by a pensioner who had done little jobs, so when he died, he had no money. And he wondered, how will I live my life? So it reminded him that although he had done all kinds of vibaruas, when he was young, whenever he made chicken, the mother would be excited, everybody was excited, and he asked himself, now that I have nothing to do, what about if I make chicken and sell to my neighbors? He made the chicken. And the neighbor said, what? You supply me regularly. Then that word went to everybody hearing that there is a certain type of chicken made by himself somewhere, and you cannot compare with anything else. After some time, he had to go to a central place, and he put a restaurant in the shopping center. And everybody say, use that road. And when you stop, there's a in Kentucky, when you stop there's a certain type of chicken. And it is spread all over the US. By the time he was dying, he was giving talks all over universities about business. Yet at the age of 65, he was helpless. Am I communicating? I don't know who among you is the story of Kentucky. You already say 70, but your story is just about to start. So do not start. You need to talk to God. So if you're not with God, can you not use it? To show you what is it I can do in old age. Because I'm healthy. That can help me to help others. Because Kentucky has helped people all over the world, including the ones in Kenya. Questions to consider as you plan your retirement. I'm not talking to the people who are 50 years. The first question, how much should I save for retirement? This depends largely on the lifestyle and on the assumptions one makes. And typically, the following assumptions are made. It depends on whether you are willing to make that assumption. No dependents at retirement except spouse. Then if you are just the two of us, this is how much I'm likely to need. No significant change in lifestyle. I do not intend to buy Mercedes if I've always driven a Viz. I'll continue at Viz. No children in school by that time. I know it's too late to tell you that, because if you go to your child at 45, they are still in primary school at 50. So, but you can see this talk is more useful the younger you are, isn't it? Yeah, that if the Lord blesses you with children earlier, have them. But you don't have to have them. It's not a must. But you need to understand when you are planning your retirement. Please plan that you have slightly higher medical bills. The first time I started wearing glasses, I just gone for a normal annual medical checkup. Then the doctor said, by the way, those eyes, you might need glasses. He was not saying you need to go to get glasses, but he suggested. I thought I'm okay. But because he said so the following year, one time I took time to go to ophthalmologist. Is that what they are called? And he said, you need glasses. And so I was prescribed glasses. But I said, sure, I find them very uncomfortable. Because you have to not wearing them. But I have them here. So I asked him, if I wear them, will my eyesight improve? The doctor just burst into laughter. Said, if you get eyeglasses after the age of 35, your eyes are not sick, they are just old. So every 2 years, you will be back here for stronger lenses. Hey, are you saying you don't help me? No, you are not sick. It's just the eyes that you have seen enough. You know, for a few years, I refused to wear them. I had them. Because if they are not helping me, why am I wearing them? And my problem is driving. Then I realized I always cause an accident because this is called pride. It's pride to refuse to wear the glasses. And then you are hating people left and center. What I'm telling you is that there is such a thing as sickness and old age. And old age is not sickness. Every part of our body has a sell-by date. Am I communicating? It has done enough alcohol. And you see, the body doesn't stop all at the same time. Your legs may give you problems fast, but your heart is still beating okay. Am I communicating? Your ear may start giving you trouble hearing, but your eyesight is still okay. What am I saying? I'm telling you that generally speaking, as you get older, your medical bills will rise. So I think that's very important in your planning of economics. To be aware they get worse and worse. And that's not the only problem. The insurance people, if you are here, don't forgive me, I'll tell you this. There's something wrong with our insurance industry. They enjoy covering you until the age of 50. After that, you say, cover me, you say, no. I discovered as a retired, hardly an insurance company want to cover all the people, isn't it? But they told your money all the years. And remember the concept of insurance is you put young people, old people, although the older ones who benefit, the young ones who just be donating money. Now, you all of them together in the same scheme. But that's what you need to know. That at your age, one of the most important things is buying a medical cover. In other words, if you don't have enough money, change your diet. Eat the berry and porridge constantly to save enough money to buy a medical scheme. Are we together? So that because it's going to be there, you will not get sick. It is there. If not I, it will be here. If not here, it will be there. Am I communicating? And I told you, you are not sick. You are only old. So you need to start having a medical scheme. At a very, and by the way, I discovered and now I advise people, when you are just about 2 or 3 years before retirement, because by that time your company has given you a cover, am I right? And you know you are just about to go to an insurance and start looking for a cover. And buy, since you don't need it, buy a very small cover. Let's say just about 100,000 cover. You will be paying very little premium. Are we together? Because when you retire, you will not apply for a cover. You just increase the cover. And then now they even refuse you to report them to RIA. Am I communicating? Because you already did their subject. They must cover your vendor. What's it vendor? But when you call it an old man at 80 for the first time, say no. Am I communicating? And unfortunately nobody told me. That's why I'm telling you. That you just say, I'm enjoying my employer, then you go looking. Nobody wants to cover you. So it's important to understand in your retirement economics. It is important if you took medical cover as something you might have. Now it's a must have. Obviously, the alternative is to rely on the WhatsApp groups. Begging money. Remember, even if you have a medical cover, sometimes the bills reach a level you must get help, isn't it? But unless it reaches that level, in fact, the first thing they ask you, did she have a cover? If you say yes, then they give money happy. But if you say no, since that's a careless woman, let her now sell her assets. Am I communicating? So I'm admitting, whatever level of cover, you still can get bills above it. But before it reaches that bill, that level, don't involve other people. Are we together? My theology is based on Philippians chapter 2. A guy called Epaphroditus. That guy called Epaphroditus, the Bible tells us, he was unhappy. That's Paul talking. Epaphroditus was sick. And then the Paul tells us he was unhappy that his dad had had that he was sick. Have you read that in the Bible? You're looking at me like, it's not so an African, but that's the Bible. He did not want his dad to know that he was sick. Then Paul continues. The guy was sick to the point of death. Now, as a Christian, you should not aim to become everybody's problem. Galatians chapter 6. Carry your own burden. Although a little later he says, carry each other's burden. But before then, carry your own burden. And that's why you are putting an insurance scheme so that in the shorter term, you do not go to raise money. You cover your own thing. And in order to have that medical cover, you have to lower your standard of living to bring enough savings to have the cover you want. Are we together? And you are better off doing that than to live large, and when you are in trouble, you must do a fundraising even for a decade. Am I communicating? Yeah, so it's important that you understand. Okay, some of you are regretting coming to this meeting, but when I was taught to talk about retirement, economics. Business retirement, economics. Those are the things that were not relevant in your 30s. They are now relevant. And I thought I would spend quite a bit of time just emphasizing that because it's a critical thing. And of course, you talk about by the time you are retiring, you must plan to have no mortgage. You cannot be retired and paying rent. Are we together? Yeah, because, in other words, because you want to live in Uzunguni, you wait for a mortgage that cannot end until you are 100. Now, who told you are rich that way? You are committing your children, isn't it? It's not fair. Go to a smaller house, and by the time you are 60, clear the mortgage. Are we together? So don't worry, as long as, remember, a bed in Umoja and a bed in Lavington is the same size, 6 feet. And with a mattress, isn't it? And a bad blanket, isn't it? So when you sleep in Lavington or sleep in Umoja, the body does not know the difference. Am I right? So why go for a mortgage you cannot pay by the time you are retiring, and the body will not recognize you Sabbath? So it's important to plan such that by the time you are 60, you have covered your mortgage. Are we together? And that is part of the economics we need to deal with, and avoid huge car loans. By that time, after all, you are not taking children to school except if they have come to visit. So have a car you can afford, and let the car be such that you have planned how when it reaches a level where the repairs are. You understand the economics of owning a car. You cannot continue owning the same car if the repairments are getting to 1/3 of the value. That's a level of foolishness. Because by that time you are better off buying a new car. Otherwise you put it and it will not be new. It's still getting older. So you reach a level where you plan how I have this car, and this is how I planned. By the time you reach that level, the resale value will be this. And have been accumulating money that can replace it by putting the resale value plus the little money and back to a car. And it doesn't have to be new, but the old new. It's not new, but something that cannot make you sleep out at night. Are we together? And please remember, a big car, a small car, do the same job. They take you from here to Nakuru to see your uncle, isn't it? And you are back. And if you drive a Mercedes, it will have cost you 100. I heard the other day somebody saying 100 million for a car. And then this costs you 3 million. But then you are going to Nakuru, you arrive at the same time. Why? The Mercedes can drive at more than 300 kilometers an hour. But the government says, no more than 100. Can you see how much the Mercedes suffers? A big can go at 150 kilometers an hour. But it's only that is too high. Go back to So both of them just follow each other. And the same. But this one paid 3 million, this one paid 100 million. Of course, if you have the money, fine. But you know very well it doesn't give you anything extra. Okay, on the way back from Nakuru, on the hill, you leave the valleys behind. But I don't know why I said one going down. On the way down, Amatines cannot leave. They go at the same speed. Because basically, even a beast will go faster than the required thing. All I'm trying to get you to understand is determined economics means becoming realistic. That's all I'm saying. I'm saying you become realistic. So in terms of transport, you do that. And you have to ask yourself, are the Ubers better than you driving? Because sometimes I take an Uber, they take me to town, and I start asking, if I drove my own car, it sounds more expensive than Uber. I know the drivers are complaining, but you are not Uber, are you? You are a passenger. So don't argue like Uber, argue like that. And for the time being, sometimes it's far much economically better for you to take an Uber than to drive your own. 3 advantages. It may be cheaper. Number 2, your eyes are already giving you trouble. You can enjoy be sitting in the back like you're rich. But number 3, when you are not where you are going, you just go in and you go away, isn't it? Your car, you arrive and you have to look for parking. And because they ask you to squeeze in a small place, and at your age, to squeeze in a small place is a problem, you scratch up on your face. And you have to repair the other car, isn't it? Or because you refuse to use. Can you see the economics of all this? So you need to start doing it. Because if you're interested in people seeing your Mercedes, where you are going, you may not take Uber. But what will you gain after they see? It's something you have to ask yourself. Anyway, we can go on and on. So, what you are saying then is that in terms of expenditure, which is what I was talking about, in terms of expenditure, you need to think clearly and don't go above your means. Operate within means. What is very interesting is you can operate at any level. Income. The other day I'm a Gideon, so the other day somebody helped me to give Bibles all over Kibera. So I was moving from one, there are many schools by the way. They are called, I don't know what they are, there's a name they are giving those schools, makeshift. Some are mud houses, they are primary schools. So actually I was parking the car at Dio's place, then I would bring the teacher, he sends a voice, we carry the cartons, and I give. So I got a lot of time to talk with those people. So I said, how much, where do you work? Since because we does radio, about how much you get per month? 10,000 shillings. Some of you will have 10,000. You feel poor, isn't it? Oh, yes. That will say, I have only 10,000 a whole month. I said, how do you live on it? Now, I pay my rent, 2,000. I pay the school fee. I don't know why they don't go to Olympic. They are paying something in that makeshift school. And even after that, they still have money for some beer. And then, 10,000. Shame on us that you have 100,000 and you're a beggar. Can you see the trouble? You can actually live within your means. I keep telling people, I'm just talking about transport. That do not buy a brand, buy transport. Because it's not a brand you require, it is transport. And the same thing with food. Eat a balanced diet, except when you're age, you must eat a balanced diet. But a balanced diet does not have to be expensive. They told me, and the last time I started biology class was when I did for 1971. So if I get it wrong, you can forgive me. But they told me there were 3 requirements of the body. Starch, what was the other one? Protein, and the third one? Vitamin. And you know, let's start with the protein. If you are very rich, you go for whatever you can get for. But if you have no money, just go to Kekoba and buy a dead of beans. They told me it is protein. Were they right? Yes. And you buy, if you buy a whole debe, every day you boil for yourself and your wife and your husband or your wife, you will be eating protein every day at a lower head price. I'm not going to get it. Of course, if you are rich, buy some beef. But I'm told by the doctor can correct me here. After you have eaten the beef, the body is not after beef, it's after protein. So it works on it, and finally takes in protein. The beans were also and protein. What it was after protein. The beans were cheap, the meat was expensive, but the body never benefited from it. I'm not going to get it. If you are rich above for chicken, see, chicken is even more expensive. If you are even rich above for seafoods, are they not even more expensive? But the body work, leave alone all the costs, and just take away protein. So, there's a kind of a problem for somebody who is living outside their means because they don't understand that what they are after is protein. Are we together? Let's go to starch. If you have no money, go to the Copa with the maize. You buy the maize first, you go to the Copa, there's a place they normally turn into unga, am I right? And keep a debe of unga in your house. It's good for ugali and porridge. And when you take the porridge, the scales are saying we are well covered. The starch is in. If you are rich, I'm not telling you to remain on porridge. Buy bread. But bread is more expensive, but once it's worked on, the sales don't take bread. They take starch. Now you are rich, I'm going to eat a bit. But please understand. There's nothing extra you are having. So you can live within your means. Anyway, I will go on. But I hope you start understanding in this retirement economics, these are the practical things you have to do. But I also want to refer to the issues of investment and suggest that since we have agreed that that the pensions are normally, at least in Kenya, are not normally enough, it may be important that some of the assets you accumulated over time, you ask yourself whether you are investing them in places where they can improve on your pension. But let's first start by saying, in that particular department, what matters is not you to be asset rich, it's for you to be cash rich. All day does not require asset, it requires cash. In fact, if you calculate your total ownership and it's 100 million, you are supposed to keep at least 30% of that in cash form. Am I correct? All younger days you invested. Old age, it must be cash, because when they call you to hospital and your medical bill and your medical cover is finished, they will not take houses. What are they going to take? Cash. And I'm saying the other day, one of the people I used to work with in Shell, and we're having a lunch, the three of us, with retirees, and the other one, who is just a little younger than me, told me about this guy in his 80s. I was very impressed. The other day, he got so sick, and the medical cover got finished, but he was still able to pay 3 million from his cash. So he never raised any funds. I turned to the old man and said, I need your wisdom. Because if you are wasting money giving it, cash. I'm not going to give you. Please understand, this advice is not good advice for people. That's why I will tell people below 60. I'm talking about people who are over 60. You must not become all those assets of your children. But if you die earlier, it's not a good idea. So it's important to understand you must have liquidity. Are we together? So you must find a way of turning part of your assets into liquid form so that, I'm not say liquid, it's not being current account. You can put it somewhere like unit trust. You know unit trust? Where unit trusts are giving you maybe 7% interest, but you can liquidate it anytime you want. Are we together? So that's what we are talking about. You need liquidity. And that's the principle of old age. What's the principle? Liquidity. You need to have certain assets at a level where you can actually access them. Principle number 2 of old age. You must reduce your risk appetite. When you are young, you buy shares like we did I retired 07. I bought some money. We put in some assets. Because the economy was doing very well before the post-election violence. Am I right? When the post-election violence came, the share prices went down. If you had invested $1 million, by August the following year, the same ones gave you half of that value. So if you must have the money, you have it with a loss of 50%. So the only thing is young people just ignore the money. But since then, the prices have risen, and they still make money. The trouble is they do not have that time, you are right quickly. So it's very helpful to understand you can't behave like the young people. And yet, the economic terms are, the higher the risk, the higher the return. So please accept that's good for your early days. For now, the higher return is not for you. It's for younger people. And it will be important that just use this one for me. The pastor, just switch it off. It's the pastor that I was preaching in the morning. I think it's important to understand this concept. Am I clear? Is that risk appetite must be got down in old age. You cannot start taking high risk. It means you are still investing, you are still getting a return, but not high enough. Because you do not want to take that kind of risk. And if you die, you don't want your children to struggle with it then. Are we clear? So, equate the principle, then become risk, reduce your risk appetite. So that you don't start taking things that, you know the trouble is, you hear, there's a place they're investing money, and they're making a very high return. You put the money there, the thing collapses, and you are left with nothing. For a young person, there's still time, isn't it? You don't have that time. So you must reduce your risk appetite with old age. Of course, the truth is, in those 17 or so years since I've been retired, I've lost money. Or rather, we have lost money. So we know what we are talking about. So I think that's an important thing that you need to understand. Risk appetite must be lower. But then, I still expect you to invest. And there are several options which you have. Number one is pension funds. When I say pension funds, there's something called annuity. Annuity is that house you bought in Buruburu. Instead of waiting for rent, sell it all and ask the asset department or insurance company to give you an annuity. What's an annuity? An annuity is, tell them, I want you to be paying me 100,000 shillings a month until I die. How much money do you need from me now? And commit yourself, you write a contract that you'll be paying me. Because remember we are back to cash. Remember you liquidated? So you are turning your asset into liquidity. But instead of putting that money somewhere, that will not be good. Buy an annuity, and once you buy the annuity, you are assured of a regular income to a certain level. And just ring anybody in the insurance company and say, I want an annuity, and he will talk to you. And the way to ask questions is to say, if I wanted about 100,000 per month, and I'm now 62, how much will you ask me to pay upfront, the big bill upfront, and then to pay me immediately this amount of money per month? That's a better idea than retaining your assets. Are we together? Yeah, because, and I know that because the other day I was asked by the CPS, the Certified Public Secretaries, CIS, I was asked to go and give them a talk on retirement economics. Same topic. These are professionals. When I arrived in the meeting, I found in my 70s I'm too young. It was more of your age mates. They are 80s, whatever. Although they had told members who are 50 years and about to come. So I told them, sure, how can we talking to you? I'm too young to talk about retirement when you are here. They said, no, you are the one supposed to talk. So I talked. But I benefited during question time. Question time is when they said, you know what Mr. Naga is saying is very true. I invested, this is a guy like this, I invested in rental houses. And I thought I'm covered. Then COVID came, and one tenant after another brought the keys to me. I want to look for a smaller house, have it. Another one, I want to look for a house, have it. Within no time, I had no income, and I needed to be hospitalized in hospital. That's when I discovered rental houses are no solution for old age. That does not mean you don't have rental houses. Have them, but you must have a certain level of liquidity. And that's what annuity. Because annuity means cash. Everybody is like a pension. But because I will be talking about, we are talking younger people, I'm talking about their pension scheme. For you, that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about whatever it is you bought and it's an asset. Go and ask, how much would you need for me to be getting 100,000 shillings per month? They tell you, you sell your asset, you give them, and you enter to a contract, and it's money protected by RIA. What is RIA? Insurance Regulatory Authority. In other words, you are covered. It's not just like in the investment. It's covered because they know you are dealing with the future. And there's someone who audits them to ensure they continue giving you, not for a certain number of years, but until you die. Can you see the advantage of that? That's what so you can continue with all your assets, but you get sick. You have no cash. You still have to do harambe, isn't it? But you are still very rich. So it's important to start getting that concept very clear, pension scheme. So that's the first place you invest, where you improve your cash given the lower level of your pension. Then you can go to stock market, but I've already told you the risk in stock market. You can go to government bonds, and government bonds are old people's vehicle. Why? With a government bond, there's no risk. Why is there no risk? Because the government will have to collapse. Are we together? Because we are lending to the government. When you buy a bond, you are lending to them. So you are sure of three things. Number one is that whatever interest they commit to you, they pay twice a month. They do it twice a year. So every 6 months, you will get money into your account. And that's the first thing. Number two, when the bond time, whether it's 10 years or 20 years, when it's over, your principal will be returned back to you. And then thirdly, you can borrow money on the bond. The banks are willing to, when you need cash, you can actually get cash, but the collateral is, can you see the advantage? But the most important thing is that there is no risk and no work. Those are the top 2 points. The central bank tells you, don't bother, we don't want to do with the money. So, any other asset, even at your age, you must keep checking it, isn't it? With bonds, you do no investment there and of course I said at the beginning, there's no risk. That's something you need to think about and how it can help you so that I'm not just thinking about annuity, I'm thinking about these other things. Of course, we have also talked about unit trust, insurance companies, bank deposit, and we can go on and don't have to find a way of finishing this. What criteria do you apply in selecting the investment vehicle? Of course, the most important is ROI, return on investment. And when I say return on investment, anything that gives you a lower return on investment than the current treasury bonds is a thief. Because we are investing in somebody to give you a lower figure and yet you can lose the money. So the lowest return you can stomach is the bond. Because the bond has no risk. Are we together? So if I'm going to take a risk and take my time to supervise, shouldn't I get higher than the bond? But if you're a Kikuyu, you don't believe in sandpapers. So you go farming and you get a lower return than the bond, and you feel stupid. I told you there's a level of foolishness that comes with old age. Because if whatever farm you get, my farm, but if you look at what you invested, what you are getting, to a percentage, the ROI is lower than the central bank the other week. The other week was around 16%. Are there many businesses that can do better than that? So why would you be struggling, Larry? I come from Nyandarua every week, and the return is lower than central bank. Am I communicating? Yeah. Oh, I run businesses, but what is the return? If it is lower than bond, buy bonds. Because you can buy treasury bills or bonds. Your treasury bills are normally shorter term than bonds. And we could go on. So the first, I think it will be important, I've talked about this, the criteria is, what is the return, the need for liquidity, investors' age profile, your age, I've talked about that, security and stability of the security, what are the likely things you could lose, then the initial cash outlay, how much do you need initially, and of course the other things to consider. If you are talking about breweries, will you as a Christian, however the return investment, do you want to be the one funding drunkards? You have to look at all those things, the religious of the matter. And then how much is your personal involvement? At the age of 80, do you really want that level of involvement? And we talked about investor risk appetite and projected cash flow. All those are important. Somebody, not me, did what they call a pensioner survey, asking pensioners various questions, and I thought I would take for your benefit, because I was one of the people researched. So I was given the results. Here are some of the remarks that come out of the pensioner survey. And from the information we got, the recommendation is endeavor to ensure your pension becomes a reality. Don't put it in wrong places. Please save more and have a home before retirement date. Be honest to your employer and plan your future in writing properly. To work with honest, and God will pay them back. Don't be in corruption. It will catch up with you even in retirement. Do things in a careful manner in order to succeed. Invest wisely in an income generated area, especially property. Take care of the job. Be serious in your work. I'm talking about people not retired, have integrity. Please don't spend carelessly. Plan nicely for retirement. To remain in share. Okay, now you realize who are the people being asked questions. Now I'm looking for a way of finishing. I want to read Luke chapter 14, verse 28. Luke chapter 14, verse 28. Suppose one of you wants to build a tower. Will he not first sit down and estimate the cost to see if he has enough money to complete it? For if he lays the foundation and is not able to finish, everyone who sees it will ridicule him, saying, this fellow began to build and was not able to finish. What is Jesus? This is Jesus saying that people laugh at you, and according to Jesus, they are not doing anything wrong. Why do you design a tower without a plan? I'm not going to get it. So when people laugh at your retirement, they are saying, Jesus is telling you, you knew you are going to retire. How come you never planned? And even if you did not plan then, today is a good day to start, isn't it? Yeah, today is a good day to start. So the important thing is the word of God. I've run out of that, but the theology behind planning can be quite complex. Because some people think if you plan, you don't trust God. Others, I'm not going to get it. So it's important to understand that Jesus himself recommending planning. So lack of planning is not a sign of faith, but foolishness. You need to ask yourself, what do I have? It's not what the Bible says. And then you plan according to what you have. That's the same. So, whatever age you are, whether you are in your 70s like me, or you are in your 80s, whatever, or you are 90, today is a good time to ask, how am I planning to be in my 90s? How am I planning to be in my 80s? How am I planning to be in my 70s? What can I do to make my life in the 90s, in the 60s, better? And I think that will be important. There are some things I've not included here in this economics. But something? One of them is that it's very unlikely that the two of you will die on the same day. So you must plan. If I die before my husband, what can we do to make my husband's life better in my absence? I'm sure women are looking at me strangely. But there are things you can do that will make since you are not saying you are going to die, you don't write a will to die. But you can look at the way you are running your life and realize, if I die, my husband will follow me next week. Now, since you don't want him to follow you quickly, why? Even if you don't like him, his children like him. So for the sake of your children, do something that can help you to last a little longer. Am I going to get it? So it means you must look at the implication of your husband or your wife dying earlier than you. What will happen? Some of us are dying, have left things to our children, and our spouse has nothing. The children come, hey, out. This house was left to me. Have you heard of those stories? Yes. Where the children are going away, their own mother, not a step mother, a real mother. just because she had a foolish husband. It's very important to understand. Not to think that if I died earlier, what will happen to your spouse is not in line with Luke chapter